Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Wow, it's been quite an interesting evening. Although it's still hot as blazes here.
I'm saying, I'm what 2 hours away from you. It's hot as blazes here. We got a big storm coming. Everybody's probably like, "Why are you wearing a mask?" I didn't want to be the only one not dressed up for
Well,
the
well,
show.
well. I'm as usual. So
So,
not
Susan, have you
using.
recuperated from Sunday?
Oh yes, I have. Although I had a kind of like take like a long hot shower, kind of like de-dust myself.
I think
But yeah, it was fun. It was amazing. It was amazing.
yes. Thank you for helping. Thank you for all that. I'll have a video out next week. So
Yeah, yeah. If everybody didn't know, we were at the Victory Theater in Holyoke. We had a Pride event that went on, and then afterwards we have a ghost hunt, and that was exciting. It was exciting. I still need
yeah,
to go over my footage though,
yes, you
but
do because I need some of that. It's nice
I
to watch
know.
the people that never ghost hunted
Yep.
pick up their devices and just go after we explain stuff. I had a great time. But tonight's going to be even better than Victory Theater because you have Boo on tonight.
I don't know, and I'm sorry to say, I already started drinking the created martini for the night. So it kind of had like an orange tint to it, but basically it's the Cran-Orange Martini. So I used 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice, 1.5 ounces of orange juice, a cup of ice, and 1.5 ounces of vanilla vodka. Mix it all up, and there we go. And as you can see, I'm almost done with it, but I started a little early.
Are you sure you're not a little cocked right now?
Huh?
Are you a little cocked right now?
Um, no. I don't make mine strong at all. I'm kind of like a little, yeah, yeah. So,
We don't want
but
you to pass
anyways,
out.
so we have a very exciting and amazing guest. I just want to say one thing. See if I can say it right. Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper.
So we have no other than the Side Eye Guy. Welcome,
Eureka!
Grim Reaper.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome.
Thanks for letting us have you, even though that sounded kind of wrong.
No comment.
So everybody probably knows of you, but why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Hello everyone, I am the Side-Eye Guy. I am a paranormal reaction channel / debunker. I'm a skeptic. However, I would like nothing more than to be wrong on my skepticism. I would love to be proven wrong one day. And hopefully I will be, because the more how I started off was like reacting to what I thought was like some fake paranormal content, whether it be YouTube or TV shows, and now I'm starting to get a little bit more into ghost hunting myself. So yeah, maybe one day I'll have a full-on paranormal experience that I can't explain.
So you never had one, correct?
No, I have actually, but when I say a paranormal experience, I would like one as an adult. I've had one as a child, which if I took the, a sort of Kieran O'Keefe kind of approach to it, I could probably explain from a psychological standpoint. But this is why I keep saying is that I could probably explain the certain things I think I saw that I may not have saw. I could have been influenced as a child in certain ways. But when you think you see that, it's very hard to get it out of your mind.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, I believe I saw a full bodied apparition, which from what I understand is extraordinarily rare. And I may not have seen what I thought I saw. Our memories are not great. Our minds are very strange things. So I could have been influenced, but it's in there. And when it's in there, and I can still remember it to this day, what I believe I remember, it's hard to undo that. I would say it's hard to kind of like let that go.
Yeah, totally understand that. I was talking to Susan this past weekend about myself seeing something and 7 years ago, and I still can't figure it out. Why, where, How come me? It just messed up my head. I'd take a year off from investigating. So I get you there. But what got you into? So you're a skeptic. What got you into doing the type of videos that you do, the reaction videos and the debunking videos? What was behind that?
So, in a nutshell, it's in Halloween 2022. I was up late by myself one night. Wife and kids had all gone to bed, and I was just having a drink and watching some of my favorite horror scenes on YouTube. Like I didn't have the concentration to watch a full horror movie. I just wanted to watch like my favorite horror scenes. So I was like, oh, there's a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street and maybe a little bit of Friday the 13th or Sinister or whatever. And on one of the suggested videos was Sam and Colby, and I never heard of him. Never, I wasn't into that sort of. The only channel like that I'd ever watched was at the time, I believe it was BuzzFeed Unsolved, now Watcher, and that I really enjoyed their content. So I know there's a whole load of controversy with them not so long ago, but at the time, I enjoyed their content, and So when I came across the thumbnail for Sam and Colby, they do very good thumbnails, and it was like demon this, demon that, and I was like, okay, let's give that a go. And I just thought it was hilarious. Can I swear, by the way?
Absolutely.
It was fucking hilarious. It was just so dumb. I can't even remember the actual video. It's annoying. I can't remember. It might have been the Bel Air house, actually. It might have been the Bel Air house. But if it wasn't the Bel Air, it was like. I watched that very early on, and then from there, I started watching To The Paranormal, and it went from. I always thought Sam and Colby were kind of harmless and charming. Twin Paranormal, I found very disrespectful and just assholes, really, even from an early stage. And then from there, I started watching Exploring with Josh, and I thought Josh was like just dumb and funny. And there was one video, and I remember it well. It was actually Exploring with Josh. Seth Borden, Sam and Colby all collaborated together at Perriman Hospital. And I thought that video was so dumb. It was so dumb. The whole idea for the channel just popped in my head.
Wow. Yeah, Sam and Colby. God, it's like you can't get away from the Sam and Colby. We were doing a ghost hunt this weekend and teaching people, and there was a young lady there, 16 or 17, and she had her Sam and Colby t-shirt on, and I'm like, oh, great God, this has got to be in the damn video. But they're loved by these
massive, though. They're like superstars. They're insane.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah. So you did that video on them at the Bel Air house where Zeth was kicking the teddy bear, and they were just being just assholes. Where did you get that footage? I know it was it from someone at Bel Air house, or?
I cannot really disclose that information. I promise that I couldn't. All I can tell you is that someone who worked or used to work at the Bel Air house who had access to that footage contacted me.
Interesting. That's good. When you put your videos together, how do you decide? Like, I know you do put things up like, would you guys want me to see do a video on today? You put a poll up on your community feed and stuff. But what makes you pick these particular people or teams that you do your videos on?
So I do a vote for my members. Sometimes I'll do a video that I just want to do. But a lot of the time, like, I pick 3 channels that I would just like to do. And honestly, like, every now and then someone will come to me and say, like, hey, you got to check this video out. And I'll be honest, I get a lot of these. And so apologies to anyone who sent me that and I haven't been able to watch the videos. There's only so many hours of the day. But every now and then I do try and, like, catch one of them. And if it's just the way I see it, like, it's not necessarily at a debunking standpoint. It's if I can make the video funny. That's really where that's the main focus for me. Is like I've always sort of said this. Like I consider myself a comedy channel above all else. I always that's the intention for almost every video, not every single video, but almost every video. Is I want to try and make people laugh. And then from there, if I can inject some either debunking or maybe some common sense or to shed some light on the history that's been untold in the video from my own research, because I enjoy history. That's one of the things I like most about your standard ghost hunting video, is when they go into history about the certain occupants of a property or the history of the property itself. I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
And
So so your channel is about you started in 2023?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Because it's amazing, because I seen one of your first videos. Well, it may have not been your first video. It was with Sam and Kobe with Robert the Doll.
That was probably my fourth video.
And it's amazing how it was how you made the video then, and how you added a lot of things into it, the icons and the expressions and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll also say this as well. I've had a few people, not so much these days, but I used to have a lot of people sort of say to me, "Oh, you must have done another channel before the Side Eye Guy." I actually haven't. The Side Eye Guy is my first ever attempt at a YouTube channel.
Oh wow!
But I don't know. I took I watch a lot of YouTube, so I took a lot of influence from other far more successful channels than mine, and it just all kind of just I had it all planned out in my head how I wanted the channel to look.
So when you started making this first video, were you a little bit nervous on how viewers would react to it?
Oh yeah.
How did you feel?
I'm not very good at going back and rewatching my videos, but funnily enough, Crow and Judas, I couldn't watch the live stream, but Crow and Judas, like a week ago, watched my first video.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to me about it, like, privately afterwards, and he was saying, like, mate, he was like, dude, it's so crazy how different you are then to you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that came down to nerves, because I never, like, my voice was very, I didn't have very good audio equipment. My voice was very, he said he described it more as like almost like I'm doing a documentary rather than a roast or a joke. My more natural persona, I suppose, came through later on, the more comfortable I got. But I was very nervous and restrained. But this is the thing, no one watched it. It didn't matter. I didn't need to be nervous. No one watched the videos for months.
Yeah, it's always tough to watch them back. Like, I don't watch mine back either. But then again, at the same time, I'm doing so much editing, I pretty much do watch it back in that sense. But I had someone who wanted to ask you a question, and they wanted to ask, and I just freaking forgot. And I'm not even the one with a martini. Oh, what was behind you starting your channel and wearing a mask? What was behind the thought of that?
So I liked, I saw the Shape had done something similar to that, and I quite liked the idea of a sort of mystery. But the mask came a lot later. I didn't go on camera for like maybe 4 or 5 months. It was just a cartoon. It was just illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no intention to put a mask on back then. And then the very first mask I ever made was like a really crappy shoebox that I did myself. I literally put a shoebox over my head and just a picture of Side Eye Guy artwork on there, and it looked awful, and it was very uncomfortable. So, that was like the first my very crude attempt at a mask. And then after that, Elaine Baker, Creepy Caboodle, made this mask, which is a Luca mask, and I got 2 of these masks, and she's in talks of making more masks, and it's now just become a thing where I'm like, it's far more interesting to have these masks on my face.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, will anyone ever see you?
Every person I go on an investigation with sees me. I don't keep the mask on. There's loads of people that have seen what I look like. And this is the thing. I got a lot of people like, oh, you don't show your face. Like, maybe not on camera, but
yeah,
Joe Fatale, Dawn, Weeping Willow Paranormal, Dawson Tola, Nightmare Nation, Penny Biddle, Josh from Paranormal Seekers. They've all seen my face. You know,
heard it here first, guys.
no, it's not like I'm like completely utterly against people seeing my face. Like when I'm not on camera, I take the mask off.
Mm-hmm.
So Susan, we gotta fly out to where he lives or fly him here. I love when you first started out and it was the cartoon face and then you moved into this.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love your videos too because you're in a different time zone than us. So I've learned to don't watch you when I wake up in the morning and have coffee because it ends up everywhere. You are hilarious.
You are.
I like the way that you, and where I'm from, we say you kind of tell them off, but in a nice, polite way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you are phenomenal at that. Phenomenal. I don't think you've offended anybody. You might have, but I don't take none of your stuff.
Oh, I've offended a few. I've offended a few. I'll say that I thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I do. I'm nice to the channels that I think should be nice to. I'm not very nice to Twin Paranormal. I'm not very nice to My Haunted Hotel. I'm not very nice to the fam. Actually, I wasn't so bad with the fam. I just he got a bit nasty with me. Actually, I don't think I was that bad with the fam. I just told what I found. I don't think I was particularly bad with him. But like there's some channels that I'm nicer to than others.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm fair. Like if a channel comes back to me and says, "Hey, I think you might have misrepresented this, or you might have been a bit harsh here, and this is why." Colin is a good example of the Paranormal File. I'll then I'll analyze it again, and I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll look at this with a different lens because I don't. When you do something like this, I don't really think there's a place for ego. I think you should just look at everything objectively and try and be as fair and balanced as you can. And you can't just be. I can't stand Twin Paranormal, and even Twin Paranormal, if they ever came to me and sort of said, "Hey, you got this wrong, and this is why," I'd put my hand up and say, "That's not fair for me just to go out there and misrepresent people and spread misinformation because that's exactly what I criticize many of the fake channels for doing." Right. And I want to be part of that solution. I don't want to be part of the problem.
Good point. Very good point. I mean, Twin Paranormal. I can't sit down and watch their stuff for 5 minutes.
The best thing was the last Twin Paranormal video I did. I said, if as long as they don't strike me or anyone else again, then I won't do another video on them. And I hope it stays that way. And I've never watched another Twin Paranormal video, and that was in January. So we're talking over half a year now, and I haven't watched another Twin Paranormal video, and I want to keep it that way. I can't stand the content. It's like fingers down a blackboard for me. I can't stand
it. I know it's a big help though in the paranormal community for me and people like Susan who are really into it for the truth, and we'll put up videos where nothing has happened and that's just the facts of the facts of the facts, because I'm an investigator, but I'm still skeptical too. I could catch something, I'm like, no, there's a reason. I'm always doubting my own evidence. But the way that you debunk it's just fascinating, because you don't just debunk, oh, they got a string or they're popping their ankles. You go deep. You go into the history. Like you said, you like history. Like you did one, God, what was it? I think it was Mind Seed, and they got into someone's house and they weren't supposed to be doing what they were doing, and they were sitting outside in the rain. And man, that video that you did on them blew me away. Like, he's actually reaching out. He's calling people. Were they supposed to be there? Did they have permission to do that? What makes you go that far in to checking all those check marks, those areas?
It's funny with the Mindseed one, because it was just one thing they said. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm some sort of expert on architecture or anything like that. But in that video, I know I'm British, I'm not American, but in that video they said, "Oh, we're in a New Orleans plantation." And I looked at the house, and I'm like, that's not a plantation, at least not a classic one. And I was just like, I don't think this is true. And if that's not true, what else isn't true? So thankfully, the same lady who made these masks, Elaine Baker, Troopy Caboodle, messaged me and said, "Hey, I think I've got some information. on where this house really is, and it's in a completely different state, and it's not a plantation. And then from there, she gave me a big breadcrumb to just go down the motions and figure out what was going on here. Then I end up talking to the owner of the property, and he's still outraged by it. So yeah, like this is the thing. Like when I do this channel, like it's not just me. There's a community of people, and I do get help. Like people message me and go, "Hey, did you know this?" or something like that. And then from there, I'm like, "Wow, like that's And then from there, I can do my research into it and go down the rabbit holes. But it's thanks to the community and the people who watch my videos where sometimes I get these tips.
Yeah, I understand that totally because I get the Code Satori emails all the time. And sometimes it gets overwhelming. Does it get overwhelming for you when people are feeding you so much information and you're like, where do I go? What do I do? I don't want to piss off this supporter or this follower.
Yeah, very much so. And I try and say that to them. I do try and get back to, I might have missed a few, but I do try and get back to everyone who messages me, DMs me, or emails me. I really do. And if I don't, I apologize if anyone I have missed. But it does get a bit, you do get, it can go like a week where very little happens, and then another week I get like nearly 100 emails and DMs and all the rest of it with videos to watch, and sometimes like there'll be one I'm like, that's really good, and I'll put it on the back burner and I'll come back to. So that happened with the Paranormies. I did a video on the Paranormies exposing their how they treat their fans and the whole paywall account, and taking money for people and not delivering what they promised, etc. I heard about that maybe 5 months or 6 months before I end up making a video on it, and I always had it in my mind. So rest assured, if anyone does send me information, like I do have a file for it, and I do put in that file, and I try and work my way around it. But I also want to do the videos I see as well. Like so the next video I'm doing is going to be a collaboration with Adelaide Haunted Horizons, and we're going to this really interesting, unique location. And then I found that they told Adelaide Haunted Horizons, the ladies from there, told me about this other ghost hunting team that had been to the same location. And since I've been to that location, I'm more educated on it, and I can I'm not just going like, oh, I know for sure you're lying about this, because I've been there and I know the truth behind it, and I know that they're lying to their audience. And I've also got a sneaking suspicion they might have broke in as well, but I'll explain all that in the video. But so that's a video that no one's going to come to me with. I just really want to make that video.
Yeah.
So there's only so many hours in the week, so many videos I can make, and I do try and get through back to everyone. But yeah, it can. This is the other thing, is it's only me doing this. Like I don't have a team. I don't have an editor. I don't have anyone. I got no one in admin. I got no one doing my social media. It's literally just me doing all this. So I try and do as much as I possibly can. And I appreciate every single person who does email me as well and tries to get in touch with me.
Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of work. It's I have a team, but I'm the only one that does the debunking videos. And I'll put up a 20-minute video, and it might have took me all day, 12, 13 hours just to get that 20-minute video up. It's a lot of work. But the time and dedication that you put into it, it's very clearly seen in your videos. Very clearly seen.
Oh, thank you very much.
The respect you have for some of these historical places that people lie about is, I appreciate it, because I'm a big nerd with history and I love all that stuff, and Susan can tell you. And when people lie about historical places, I get so angry. And I love when you do that. I love when you dig deep. I get a lot of shit about reaching out to the Conjuring House or reaching out to this person, or first you just got to call the Historical Society. Well, I got to get my shit right first.
Yeah.
You got to get it right first, before you go talking shit. And but you do more than debunk. For me, it's the history that you tell, and you get the facts straight, and you show the proof. And I appreciate that as a paranormal investigator and someone who loves history. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I get some brownie points?
Just kidding. So you were actually in America. You were actually in the U.S. recently. How was it?
It was.
You can tell the truth.
Genuinely, I love America.
Yeah.
I could if it was possible to do so, I'd live there. The only thing that because I this is a British accent. I live in Australia. The one thing I would say that as someone, maybe because I've got this mask on, it might be really a giveaway that even though on camera I can come across a certain way, like in my regular life, I'm a bit more introverted. When I'm in America, if I remember this, like this is like this sums up my problem I have with America in one very quick story. We were driving. We did a lot of driving in America, and I stopped off and wanted to get a Subway, Subway sandwich. And I just went in there and I was like, I made my order, and the guy behind the counter, lovely bloke. I'm not having to go with him, but he just went to me. I'll try and do an American accent. I'll probably butcher it. He's just like, "Are you the kind of guy that gets offended when people does your accent?" And I'm like, "Oh. No, like go ahead. I just want to order a sandwich. I don't want an invitation. I don't want a performance. I just want a Subway." And like it was nice, and he did it, and he did it poorly. It sounded more Australian than he did English, but there was nothing rude about it. But this is the thing, like in Australia, no one gives a shit. No one cares. There's so many English people here. No one cares about your accent. The only people that bring up my accent in Australia are the British people asking where I'm from. So no one, and like it happened a few times, a good few times in the time I was there. So like before the Bel Air house, I went with Dawson Toller to go get a Burger King, and so he can witness this. Like he can confirm this. Like we were in the Burger King, and I had like the person behind the counter going, "Oh my God, I love your accent. Hey, John, you'll talk British. You'll talk British to John." And I'm like, can I just order a Whopper? Like, can I just have I just get a Whopper? Okay. And then the guy, I can't remember. I mean, that's sort of like a joke, and I was like, because I get really awkward with those sort of things, and I'm like, it can't be that exciting or whatever, something like that. I can't remember. And then there's a guy on my side of the counter saying, "Oh, you don't understand. This is a hick town. Like, this is the most interesting thing that's happened to us all week." And I'm just like, okay. So if I ever try to move to America, I have to move somewhere touristy where no one gives a shit.
It's weird because in the area that you were, especially at the Conjuring House, there's many of accents there. You got the Boston accent, the Rhode Island.
It didn't happen so much there. So the Subway thing, I think, was in Oklahoma. Oh. So I did a lot of driving. We did a lot of driving. We went all over the country. It was like a giant road trip. So yeah, I think the Subway thing was in Oklahoma, and the Ohio, isn't it? The Bel Air house is in Idaho. Excuse me, Idaho. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple of. I remember one time. This happened in Maryland. A different trip, and I had to go pay for the gas, but I went into. Now you can pay it at the pump. Then you had to go in and pay it at the counter, because this is a little while ago now. And I remember thinking to myself, because I went in there, and it was like there was like a young girl behind the counter, and it seemed like she had like 3 or 4 of her friends on the other side just hanging out and talking with her. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking to myself, as soon as I open my mouth, this is going to bring a lot of attention to me. And I tried to I'm not going to try and do an American accent, but I was like, can I just get put $30 on pump 5, please? And instantly they all went, "Oh my God, where are you from?" I was like, okay. So yeah, that's really the kind of problem I have in America, is like this accent seems to get a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's weird because we have so many accents here. So while you were here, what was your most memorable moment?
As in, just as a holiday, or as in, as side-eye guy, as paranormal investigation?
Yeah, as a holiday of paranormal investigation. I loved watching you at Disney World and all that.
Yeah, so I was going to say, taking my kids to Disneyland was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm still skint from it, but they absolutely loved it. My son is a
Awesome.
massive fan of Lightning McQueen and Cars and all that. My daughter is a massive fan of Moana and Frozen,
Yeah.
and she got to see like those characters, and it was adorable, like that really. And then my daughter from that started getting into Star Wars, which is brilliant. Because I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and going to like the Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land, and riding the rides, she's now into Star Wars, which is worth it in itself.
Yeah.
That's funny.
As far as the paranormal kind of standpoint, I would say probably not. He loves to be chained to the cellar. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe that. That was the highlight of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny.
I know. Okay, I gotta ask you this. When you were in the basement of the Conjuring house, I love the fact that you don't do this. This was your first time, right, going on investigations. I love the fact that when that heater or that whatever system came on, you called that right out. You're like, oh, well, now everyone's got to speak louder. Was that something that you knew naturally to call out because a big system unit came on, whatever the fuck it was? Or is that because you've done debunking and you knew like, okay, let me call this out? Like that. So I know it was a great place, but that just got me like, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I can tell. I can assure you, I don't know what I'm doing, but I promise you that. But So the thing interesting with the Conjuring House, because it's such an infamous, famous location, like worldwide, it's like the most. And I'm still got planned to do a Conjuring House video from my time there. I'm just waiting on the other channels I was with to upload all their videos, and I'm going to explain that there's a lot. And maybe, Angelina, you know a lot about this as well. I'm not sure, Susan, but like, there's a lot that goes into. There's a lot that I think a lot of people don't realize happens when you book into the Conjuring House. And I'm going to make a video more about the process and what happens, and the reality of what happens when you're not a massive channel like Sam and Colby when you go to the the Conjuring House. Excuse me. So. And some of the things I will say now is like one of like you say like when I've seen Twin Paranormal at the Conjuring House, seen Sam and Colby a few times at the Conjuring House. I've seen oh hello, she's gone. I've seen CJ Fasion at the Conjuring House. I've seen Exploring with Josh at the Conjuring House. I've seen a bunch of, and they don't. There's two big things they don't mention. One, every floor, I swear, every single floorboard in that house creaks. Every single one.
Yeah, so I agree. Yeah.
Literally, the wind blows and you can hear creaking. Like, it's such an old house. So that's one. Two, there is a big country road literally next to the house.
Yeah.
And at one point, we heard a really loud noise and we realized that we think it might have been like the... I'm not sure what you call it. You know, where they those big... trucks that kind of dispense sand or salt on the roads to make sure that make sure black ice doesn't and then the other one is that if you're there at winter, there is a generator that goes off all the time. And I remember in the comments someone goes to me like, oh, you should have just turned off the
sorry about that.
That's okay. It's like, oh, you should have just turned off the generator. I'm like, one, we don't have access, we don't have permission to turn off the bloody generator. Two, you'd freeze. There's no insulation in that place. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of contamination in the Conjuring House that at least what I've come to, no one talks about it. Like it's a very, very old house. It's very interesting because it's a very old.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 300-year-old house. There's a lot of movement there.
And I swear, like when you get like you can hear the wind from outside, and when the wind picks up.
Now, what about the Bel Air house? Did you?
Sorry?
What does he say? I think she's cutting
out. At that point, there's like total contamination in. Oh, you guys can't hear me?
No, you're cutting in and out.
You're cutting out a bit.
My internet we're having a big storm right now, so it's kicking out.
Oh. I think we got a couple comments here about the Conjuring House. Let's see. There's a full speculation on that.
Can you guys hear me yet?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, we have a big storm moving through, so the internet's going in and out.
No worries.
Like a big story.
There's another one.
So you guys went to the Bel Air house, correct?
Correct.
Now I've been there once. In the very beginning of my, paranormal hobby, whatever people want to call it. And I saw something in the basement and I immediately left. I wasn't there longer than 45 minutes and I sat in the car for 12 hours. What did you feel, or did you see anything at the Conjured House? Do you think it's haunted?
So I'm sure, I'm not sure, Angelina, when you went there, did you meet Kristen? Okay, I'm not sure, but I think you might be cutting out again there.
Yeah.
When I say this, I'm saying this as someone who is very fond of Kristen Lee, who is the owner of the Conjuring House. I did an interview with her,
Yes.
with her perspective of everything that happened with the Sam Colby and Seth Gordon thing. So, but what I will say, I didn't mention this in the video at all. I did pay when I was at the Conjuring House. I think she probably would have let us go there for free, but I really wanted to insist on paying. So if I say whatever I say about the Conjuring House, I don't feel like I feel obliged to say something that I don't think is true about the Bel Air House. Excuse me, about the Bel Air House. So I got the receipt to prove it that I did pay the amount for us all. We all paid. All the teams contributed to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can wholeheartedly say that nothing happened. Like really nothing. I went to 3 locations while I was in America. The Conjuring House, Brushy Mountain, and the Bel Air House. The least happened at the Bel Air House. Now, does that mean it's not haunted? No, I've never. Even the Conjuring House, I'm not going to say I've always also said this. I thought this like just because you've been to one location for one night, you can't judge the location. You can judge that night all you want, but to sort of say everyone's been there is wrong and the whole thing's bullshit and all the rest of it. No, not necessarily. That's not really fair. Like, you've really got to stay somewhere for quite a long period of time, I would say. Like, it seems like the most compelling cases we have of paranormal activity have been from residential cases where people have lived with whatever supposed entity is there for a very long period of time. And even they will sort of say, like, usually it's like, they say it happens a lot, but it is still stretched over years. So, it's not the kind of thing where I think in the movies where they make out that it happens like all day, every day kind of thing. So to say if I saw no evidence to make me think that the Bel Air house is haunted, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily isn't, because just like you, Angelina, I've had a lot of people say they've had a lot of experiences there. But no, like nothing happened while I was there. But I had a very good time there. Like, it was great meeting the people we did there. It was great meeting Kristen. It was still a very fun video. And if nothing else, I got to debunk some of the nonsense things that Sam and Colby claimed while they were there.
Yeah, that was interesting. I enjoyed that part. And you're right. You have to go to a place many times to figure out, is it haunted? Am I going to catch activity? Like, people say, Angelina, you've been to Randolph County 9 times. They call you a repeat offender. Well, I've been there 9 times because I believe it's haunted. I just haven't captured anything, and I will keep going until I figure out why it's haunted. So, yeah. Yep. You just have to keep going. Victory Theater, I got to keep going there. We got to find out if it's haunted. What is it haunted by? So that's good. That's you just cover everything in your videos. I learn a lot from you doing my videos. I haven't done many videos. I've done all mine on Cody and Satori, but sometimes I'm like, am I going too far into my research? Am I pulling too much out? And I'm like, no, because Side-Eye Guy does it and I enjoy it. So let me do what I enjoy and pull all that.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as too much truth.
Yeah.
Right.
No such thing.
That's true. That's
Now,
true.
you could say that you might be going off topic with certain things and all the rest of it, but if you stay on topic and you're telling the truth, doesn't matter how deep you go, doesn't matter how much evidence you bring in, there's no such thing as too much of that.
Yeah. Sometimes I might get a little angry. Someone said the other day, Angelina came out with some rocks, and then she came out with rocks in the sock like she was an inmate. And I'm like, that's not how I wanted to come off. I was just a little upset, but
Yeah. And I agree completely, because when I started out my group, Central Mass Paranormal Society, there wasn't really true actual debunking. If you seen a light or something, hey, that's paranormal, but now I'm like, since I've been watching you, since I've been watching, Kenny, and working with Angelina as well, I have a clearer picture, which is great. So it's you have to look at everything at all angles.
Yeah, and it gets frustrating when you're with people and they're like, why do you keep stopping and trying to figure it out? Well, because I want to figure it out now. I don't want to go back to my footage and sit there for another 12 hours to figure it out. And that's what we're supposed to do.
No, I always agree. When something happens, you try and figure it out there and then.
Yeah.
Because it's fresh in your mind. You kind of know what's happened. You can all kind of talk about what's happened there. And if the longer you leave it, whatever might have happened, like let's say something fell off, if you leave it a number of hours, I think you might go back and it might not be there anymore. Someone might have picked it up and not over a number of hours. They might have kicked it somewhere. Any number of things could sort of happen. So yeah, I agree. Like if you hear something or there's some sort of anomaly or anything that could be considered evidence, figure out what it is in the moment.
Yeah, and that was taught to me by Joe Vitale 7 years ago.
Yeah. That's the investigation time, paranormal investigator. You got to investigate those things.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get to the bottom of the truth, you got to figure out what is that, what could have caused that.
The amount of times in paranormal, in bullshit ghost hunting videos where they just don't go, like they hear a knock from outside the room, they don't just leave the room to see what it was.
Yeah.
It really annoys me. It's like one of my pet hates in ghost hunting videos.
Yeah, that's like in a Penhurst. They kept saying, Angelina, go down there and check out what that is. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why send Angelina as the bait? And one time I'm like, I'm going to go upstairs and get the laser grid. Next thing I know, Susan and all 4 people are behind me. I'm like, I told you guys to wait. Like, why are you following me up the stairs? But it is important to debunk, and it is important to debunk on the spot and figure it out. We had a problem at Candyland at Penhurst, and I couldn't figure out something of why the REM pod was going off with a plastic car. Yeah. So I always tell my team, I'm like, if I can't figure it out and you can't figure it out, we need to go somewhere else and figure it out. And I sent it to Kenny Biddle, and I was like, oh, that's why it went off.
And it made sense what he was saying. It made sense.
It made absolute sense. And it's a lot of paranormal teams, they don't want to ask that help.
Yeah, that was just...
Kenny's funny, but he's good. But it's like debunk, and the debunkers are getting shit in the community because why? Because they're calling out truth. They're saying, hey, you're lying, you're this, you're that. As a paranormal investigator who doesn't fake shit, we get a lot of shit. Your shit's boring. It's not exciting. Well, I don't care.
Yeah, that's all said and done. That means that when my paranormal investigation videos are boring. Like that's
they were
the
fun.
vast majority of the time. Paranormal investigating I'm nowhere near a veteran as it maybe you ladies are, but I've done a few of them now. I've done 6 investigations now. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing more. I'm looking to do more. I'm planning on doing as many as I can, but for the most part, nothing happens. And that's, whenever people start screaming and yelling and shouting and, all the rest of it, it's like, more than likely, it's all that.
I know.
Yeah. Like us shouting through the tunnels. Well, we had a reason to shout. I got hit by a bat. So
that'll do it.
We were out.
That freaks me out more than ghosts.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah. That was funny. That was absolutely
That's
funny.
pretty big here in Australia too.
Oh, we had them. We had, and you know, I'm with a team of people, Susan and some other people, and I'm like, come on, we got to conquer our fear of these bats. We'll get past them, and I look behind me, they're like a mile behind me, like, hey, ladies. But people do. They give the real investigator shit because they're not finding anything. And why did you post that video? That was boring. Because this is the truth in the reality. It's like fishing. You're either going to get something or you're not going to get something, but you got to have the time and patience. And that's, for me, watching you, is like, I can see the time and patience you put into your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to investigate with you. That would be,
Oh, absolutely.
that would be amazing, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I know people were giving you shit about wearing the mask at the Conjuring house and sitting there, and so I'm like, leave the fucking guy alone. I go to places and I might dress as an inmate or wear whatever you call those gowns when you're in the hospital. Dress the role, do what you want to do. Does it really matter how you look?
This is my thing. First of all, I'll say, like, next time in America, absolutely, we'll try and get something going, something happening. I have no idea when that's going to be, but next time for sure. But also, like, so yeah, I get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of criticism about wearing masks during the investigations, and I'm like, there's no such thing as an expert in the paranormal. We don't know. You know, it could be that this is the sort of thing that would make ghosts not want to talk to me, or it could be something like the ghost went, well, what the hell's that? That's something different.
Right.
Like, let's not start pretending that we know. We don't know.
Right. Everything is theories.
Sorry?
It's all theories.
It's all theory. It's all conjecture. We don't know. Anyone who says they do know is lying, or at least, you know, they're presenting themselves to be an authority on something that there really isn't an authority on. There's no guidebook on how to do this. So if I want to try something different and wear a mask and all the rest of it, because what I do is, like, you know, I'll say something like, you know, if you don't want me to wear the mask, show me that you're here, do this, and I'll take the mask off. And I've done that a few times in my video. So, like, if they don't like the mask that much, then they have the opportunity for me to take it off, and I'll show my face. If something really, really big like that happens, that'll be it. I'll show my face.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that mask to get knocked off your face.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, being with Joe, Joe's an amazing investigator, and I learned so much from him and Gavin Kelly, just a lot of people 7 years ago. Joe's a quiet guy. He's a very nice guy, and if you just pay attention, you'll learn a lot. But how do you feel about the devices that we use?
So my opinion has softened a lot lately with the devices. I used to just kind of, I still don't. They're so expensive, and the problem I have with devices is that not one of them is going to make any kind of a proof. Show you any kind of proof of paranormal activity, because they all can be compromised, intentionally or unwittingly. They can be compromised. So they can be used to be, you know, they can be used to be faked if you're, you know, watching this through the lens of like a known fake channel, or if you're not, and even if you're a credible channel, they can. There's lots of different ways. Lots of different devices can be compromised. But I used to kind of be very much against it. I kind of still am. Like, in my investigations, I don't normally use them. I collab with people, so they might bring them. But I'm just happy going there talking, and if I hear and see something, and that's really what that's the kind of level of the threshold of evidence I need. But I am aware that if you literally do what I do for a video, you are just going to be talking to air for 30 to 60 minutes. So as far as it, you know, you have to make it engaging in some way for people to watch it on YouTube. Now, you can do that without faking your content, of course, but I understand that devices and even apps, which I'm very much against, but I understand in order to make the video engaging and entertaining, you're going to need some of that in the videos. I do understand that. I've actually, let me see if I've got it. I do now. See if I can find this. Have a no. I thought I had it. Here we go. I got a spirit box now.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
An old school one. So, I'll take something like that along with my investigation. Sorry, just a moment. Sorry. Just got to do something. I'm still right here. Nope.
For some reason, my SB7 doesn't seem to want to ever work.
A little something like that might be a bit more interesting. Again, is it a radio talking to you, scanning through frequencies, or is it a ghost? I'm going to go with a radio, but because that's what it is, a fucking radio. But it's interesting. It's a fun little thing to do, kind of thing. And I understand that if something does come through, it makes the video more interesting. So you can't be naive enough to sort of say, oh, it doesn't matter about making videos entertaining at all, because at the end of the day, people do want you do want people to watch your stuff.
Yeah.
And you want to do that. There's a balance of trying to get people to watch your stuff with maintaining integrity and not being a bullshit artist. So I understand if devices are used the right way and they're not so heavily lent on that they lead the investigation, then devices can be okay if used correctly.
Yeah, most definitely. I totally agree. Like, we'll throw some stuff out because the people want to see it. They like the little blinky lights and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I won't throw the stuff out and say, okay, my REM pod went off, and just leave it be. No, I'm on top of it. What did it do? I'm going to ask the question a couple more times. I want the same response. And that's when people start to get mad. Like, believe in what you want to believe, but if you really want to know about the paranormal, this is what you should be doing. Oh, it went off. Let me ask the same question and try to get it to repeat itself. But, I like using my ears, my eyes, and some video and a recorder the old style way. But the devices, it's sad that for real paranormal investigators, it's needed because of all this fake paranormal people that go out and do all stupid bullshit, And to me, it's very expensive. It's a waste of money.
Yeah,
it's very expensive.
It's the price of it that kind of blows me away sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's a big reason why people do torches and the flashlight and the cat balls, because they're the cheaper of the devices.
Yeah, and see with the cat balls, I'm big on. I don't want them to light up. Don't light it up. I want you to push it, knock it away something, because these are batteries that you cannot replace. And just like the Envoy that Susan, you're having me look at, that's a $400 piece of equipment. And I figured something out about how it goes off just by itself. And I'm like, wow, but that's what people like to see, instead of, we're not going to watch you because you don't throw no equipment out. Well, here's a fucking K2 meter and a REM pod. Have a good day. That's not really going to tell me anything, It's just not. But I was wondering, how did you feel about the paranormal equipment? Because I think it's better to go in with your senses.
I do too.
Oh yeah, Susan's kind of crazy side-eyed guy. You go to investigation with her, and if she stops and she's not looking and she's just focused on one thing, run. Just run.
like a cat.
Basically, I track it. Yeah.
It's like when Susan looks somewhere, you just go for it. But she'll stay there and let you go for it. It's funny. It's funny. People are asking, why am I wearing a mask? I'm wearing a mask so I don't feel left out, because they're all dressed up and I'm not. It's not nothing to do with Crow or Judas.
Mask party.
I just want to, fit in.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any questions? Let's get these questions in here.
So there's a comment.
I can't see it too well.
So 99% of the time the apps are not correct, but there is like that 1% that you do get something on them.
Yeah.
I'll put that down as a coincidence.
I mean, I don't know. I've tried the Spirit Talker. I've tried the Music Box. I've tried all that. You get stuff, but it doesn't pertain to what you're doing. And people seem to think, oh, it said the 1800s. Oh, it's talking to us. No. Ask the Spirit Box to repeat itself. And I guarantee you won't get it to repeat itself. That's when it's just trash to me. It's trash.
Well, what's interesting to me is if you've got a spirit, and again, even if these things are accurate. We don't know how they really work, but if you've got two spirit talkers together, shouldn't it say the same thing?
Right. Exactly.
It never happens.
Nope.
They've done it loads of times. It never, ever happens. Now, again, does that prove it's bullshit? No, because who knows how the bloody paranormal works? Nobody does. But it is interesting. It would be it would be far more compelling if they did say the same thing.
Absolutely. It would. It really would. Like, I'm working on a debunking video, and I'm talking about the Spirit app, and I set it up in my kitchen, and I didn't say nothing to it or anything, and I'm getting all these help me, the devil, 1800, my name is Toby, no it's not, to buy, like, it's just ridiculous. And then the Ghost Tube app that people use, it's like you're standing in front of a grave, a headstone, of course it's going to map it out. Like, and it's just, and I'm starting to see real paranormal investigators that are using these apps, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so let down.
A lot of them do.
So let down.
A lot of them do, and a lot of them swear by them.
Yeah, no, I can't swear by them. I can't swear by them. But no, it's not good. It's not good. Someone says, can you guys remember your first scare? So, side-eye guy, do you remember, or have you ever been scared by anything you couldn't explain in a paranormal?
Okay, so we're not talking about movies or anything like that now. We're talking about real life. Yeah, getting into my first fight scared the shit out of me.
Okay.
I was probably like 11 or something like that. I was surprised it scared the crap out of me. As far as paranormal, I don't know. Honestly, I can't. As far as like a paranormal sort of thing, I can't think, because like even when I saw that full-bodied apparition, one thing I remember, because when I saw it, my brother saw it and my mum saw it all at the same time, and we all say the same thing. None of us was scared. There was no like, demon, oh my god, bro, dude, all that. It was like, it was very calm. We saw it, and then we talked about it maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, because long story, it was like during a tour, like a walking tour, and we all saw something in the tour, and then we just didn't talk about it until the end of the tour. And no one freaked out, no one screamed. It was all very calm.
Nice.
So I can't think of a time where anything paranormal has scared me. No, like there's certain places you go to which is a bit freaky. Like when I was at a Conjuring House basement, given the context of where you are, it's unsettling. But all basements are kind of gross. There's snake skin in the basement of the Conjuring House. There's spiders down there. It's cold. It's gloomy. It's gross. Like it's an old basement that smells a bit funny. You know, it's not. It scare me? No, I wouldn't say it scared me, but it's uncomfortable to be in.
Right. No, that makes sense. So, Mama Llama, how are you, girls? Here's a question. I believe ghosts are just energy. Do you think the reason they can repeat answers multiple times is because they deplete their energy quickly?
I mean, I don't. Maybe I don't know. Questions like that, I really don't know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't. It's a good question. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't really have any theories on what ghosts are. I just want to know if they're even real first before I start kind of like trying to figure out what they even are, what they could possibly be.
Definitely is a hard question to answer, because I'm an investigator, but I'm extremely skeptical. I'm extremely skeptical. I don't care if it's my evidence or someone else's evidence. I'm extremely skeptical. My only thing is, I just want to know, am I going to be able to pick and choose where I go when I die? That's all I want to know. I could give a shit about everything else. That's the only question I want answered. If it ever gets answered and I believe in it, then I'll probably stop investigating. But other than that, I'm always going to be skeptical. I always am. You think you got something, and then all of a sudden you're like, nope, that was that.
Yeah.
You know? But it is a hard question for you to answer. Let's see. Quit watching. Oh, I thought someone said they quit watching. Someone said they quit watching for the sake of you are patient in God. Not quite sure what that means.
Okay. Deep.
Michelle Belanger. I'm not sure who she is. So, looking forward to the future, like, I know a few days ago you had, everyone thought you were out of the field. Everyone thought you were leaving. So, can we clear that up right now? Are you leaving or are you not leaving?
No, in fact, actually, I'm going to go harder with the channel.
Fucking right.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, I'm going to try and upload more. I'm going to try and do more live streams. Yeah, I'm sorting a few things out right now. I don't really like talking about my personal life. I'm sorting some few things out now. I'm getting myself together, and yeah, for sure, I'm going to be going harder with the channel. I've worked too hard at this now to give it up now.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys heard it here. He is not leaving the field. So stop inboxing Bad to the Bone. He is not leaving.
I know, exactly.
He's staying in the debunking community, doing what he does best, keeping us laughing and sharing the history and calling out those effing liars.
I'm gonna keep trying anyway.
Yeah, it seems like it comes really easy to you. So when you do a video, about how much time do you spend on getting the video together before you get it out?
So sometimes the hardest bit can just be finding the right video. Like I can find a video on a channel, and that each ghost hunting video is about an hour long. So it can take some time, and then you find a video and you're like, that won't work for me. It's not a side-eye guy friendly video, if you will.
Yeah.
So once I find the video, I have like a few processes to do and all the rest of it. It very much depends on the video. Like sometimes, usually I would say on average, it's about 20 to 30 hours.
Wow.
But from when I find the video to when it gets uploaded to YouTube, like it takes time.
Yeah.
I wish it didn't. Oh God, it used to take me weeks. Like I remember my first 3 videos each one took me 3 weeks.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm in the same spot now, but it's hard.
It took me ages. I was learning and all the rest of it, and I like before this channel, I didn't know how to even use any sort of video editing software. I'd never used it before. So I'm even now I'm still learning. I'm still like I'm like, oh, you can do this that way and all the rest of it, and I'm learning little tricks and things like that, and yeah, and then what often happens as well is like I'll do audio, and then I think of a really good joke or something like that, and I was like, oh Christ, I've got to go back and put that in there. It's like there's always like these little things that come up as you're going about it. But yeah, I very rarely get a video like that done in less than 20 hours, unless it's like that Colin of the Paranormal Files one, the more recent one. That was a really easy. That was a very quick one, just to kind of I just ranted a bit and then I just put it out there. That was nice and easy to do.
Yeah,
there's so many cuts. There's so many. I don't know. There's a lot to it. Like I wish I could get it. I wish I could get them out as quick as someone like Beardo. I wish I could.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I'm learning that if you do a few in advance, then you'll stay ahead. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm working on 3 different videos, and Susan threw one at me today. So I'm going to try to get all 4 of these videos done and then just pop them out one week, another one, another, because it is hard. It does take a lot of time. It really does, especially when you're doing what Side Eye Guy's doing and you're researching all these facilities to make sure that their stories and the history is being told right. That takes time. And then when you have a personal life and you have a job, it takes so much time. But I see with your subscribers, they're extremely patient with you, extremely patient, and it takes a lot to get YouTubers to be patient with you and still hanging in there with you. So you're doing.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that my subscribers, my followers, the people who watch me most, I've been very understanding and very patient with me, and I owe them a lot. They're great. So that's why I want to keep putting out the content for them. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, just quickly. I think Alison from LA Haunted Horizons is in the chat. I'm just like showing off the spirit box that you gave me. This is a gift from Alison.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Like a nice, it's cool old school one. So yeah, thank you.
So you said that was the old school one. Is that not the one with the new one with the temperature on it?
No, this is like, I'll see if I go right up. Oh, maybe put the light on it. Wait a minute.
Nice.
Oh, nice. The original. Yeah.
I think that's why I'm having a problem with mine, because it's got the new temperature on it, and it's not doing anything. It just goes. That's all it does. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get an old school one.
A lot of them are going back to the old school one.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to work better. Like, I've tried it 4 or 5 times and it's just not working. But then again, I'm not into that. I'd rather do a real-time EVP. I'd rather have the headphones on my ears and the recorder in my hand. You know, my team members, they do that all the time. And there's at least
and I did it the whole time we were at Victory. I like it now.
I think did you try that, Side Guy? Did you try the real-time EVPs?
Yes. Yeah, we did that in the last video. I didn't include it in the video because nothing happened. But I kind of say that in the video too. As like, I'm going to skip all this because literally nothing came through. But I have done it a few times, yes.
I enjoy that. I do. But I don't know. The spirit boxes, again, if you can get it to repeat the same answer, then you caught my attention a little bit. But I'm still going to try to debunk it.
This is the way it kind of works in science. It's got to be repeatable as well, which is very difficult, obviously, for the paranormal to do because you're relying on someone else who's also interested in engaging in that experiment to do the same thing. Which, if there is someone in the spirit world, if they may not even have the possibility. So it's like, I did a video not so long ago about putting science in with this, but like I think we both kind of said, like, you can't.
Yeah.
You really, as far as we're aware now, we'll put it this way. I say you can't. At the moment, we can't. Hopefully, one day we can.
Hopefully.
But no, this is the thing. We don't know. But like, as far as like the science as we know it today, it's pretty much completely inconclusive.
Yeah, it's for me. I'd rather use a bell that they use in a hotel. I'd rather use something you wind up to make music. If these ghosts have all this energy and they can make these devices go off, then why can't I use something that they got to crank by hand or something they got to hit by hand? And you see me, Susan, I pull out bells, I pull out things outside of the box that have no electronics in it, and they never go off, but yet these ghost devices are going off. And
it's weird. You can find a lot of like household like equipment that you can use that is very similar, just as good as like the very expensive equipment that's out there.
Yeah.
That's
like next time I go investigating, my kids have got like a little toy that is a motion sensor that if you go anywhere near it, it makes a fart noise. It cost me $15, and that's going to come on me with my next investigation.
That's awesome.
I got 2 of them, like 1 each for them. So that's going to be like my next ghost hunting tool. I'll put them like really far away, so like I won't trigger it. And if I hear some farts, I'll blame it on the ghost.
That's funny. That's cool, though. That's cool. I remember when I didn't have equipment, and I would stack up like toilet paper and make like a little triangle out of it and stack them up, or cups, and be like, knock that down, push that over. Nothing ever happened, but these devices, they just, I don't know. I would love to see you debunk some of these devices. Take them apart and just do the Kenny Biddle thing and rip them apart and that Thurman kit, because again, you're into history, you do your research, and I think that you would do amazing at debunking some of these devices. I really, really, really do.
Yeah, if I get my hands on them, I'll look into it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just saw the one Mythos did with the Spirit music box, and that's from another country, but I like how he did his debunk on it, and he found it to be pretty usable. But if you go to the Ghost Stop one here in America, so many things set that music box off. A change in temperature, a little wind of, a little blow of wind, and people are paying $300 for this, and it's like, for what? Or the dead doorbell, the hammer keeps getting stuck. No, go buy a doorbell off Amazon for $59. I mean, a door, a ring bell, whatever you call them, for $5, and get a spirit to do that.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
I think you would
Yeah.
be great doing some debunking on some of the equipment. As someone who's not really like a full-time paranormal investigator, I think you would do amazing at it.
No, thank you. Yeah, I'll look into that for sure.
Offer to take you to the afterlife and back. So there's a question for us, Angelina, Susan. If a family spirit offered to take you to the afterlife and back, would you go?
Absolutely not. My biggest fear is to die. This is why I'm in the field, to find out where I'm able to go. Can I take my soul where I want it to go? So absolutely not. Ain't nobody taking me before my time. I don't want to see shit. No. What about no?
I honestly, if I could be brought back, so I could come back and tell everybody how it is on the other side.
Susan, they'd probably commit you. Would you go? Would you do it, side-eye?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Oh my God, you guys are nuts. Why am I on this podcast?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Oh my Lord. Jesus.
The biggest question there is out there.
Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
No, I couldn't do it. I think for me, it's just kind of like I have asthma, so I've been intubated so many times, and I have seen things through being, in the state that I'm in, that it's just too scary, and I would be afraid that I'm not coming back. How do I know you're not tricking me and saying we're going to bring you back, and then you don't bring me back?
I guess you could only do it if you really do trust the people. Like you're not going to do that with a bunch of fuckwits. You're going to.
I would only do it with the Warrens if they were alive. Just kidding.
I was going to say what? What?
Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't kick me off the podcast. I was just kidding. No, I was just kidding. So, guys, do you have any questions for Side-Eye Guy, Carl, the twins? Oh, no, okay. So, who is your favorite team person to debunk? Who have you had the most fun with, and why?
Oh, that is a...
That's going to be a hard one.
It's hard because the videos that... I do enjoy the Paranormal Files if it wasn't for the videos being 3 fucking hours long. I've had a lot of fun. Like, I've done 3 videos on them, and each one of them have been successful, and I think some of my best research debunks have come from those videos, in particular the last 2. Actually, all 3 of them, but the videos take forever because they're 3 hours long. They go on for so long. Josh is always fun because he's a lovable idiot. I like exploring with Josh. Andrew from Proving Demons is batshit crazy. The guy's insane. So the videos are never boring with him. It's always something completely different with that guy.
Yeah.
As much as Mackie and Amanda does my head in, it's very, very funny doing those videos because I can just get angry and sometimes I get that I quite enjoy that type of video, that kind of comedy where I just kind of get that kind of John Cleese level angry. Sorry. I don't know. Of all of them, I'd there's probably someone I've missed. Even though the videos are so long, I might just have to edge it to the Paranormal Files.
Yeah, I like the Paranormal Files. They're really good. It is kind of long though, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Candy's asking a question there, but I can't quite see it. Throw that at you, Susan.
So it said Brian Reinhardt had a couple of questions. Why do people always say that the REM pod won't hurt you to ghosts? Every investigator does it.
I know that I do it because I don't know what kind of spirit, if there's a spirit there I'm dealing with. Are they from the 1700s, the 1500s? They've never quite seen this kind of device. So I just want to let them know that this is not going to hurt you. It's an antenna. You know, anything, electricity could hit it, lightning. So that's why I do it, just because they might not be familiar with what
Also,
that.
if you just want to have a good rapport with whatever spirit's in there, it's just a nice thing to say, I think, isn't
Right.
it? It's like you got to say,
Yeah.
like, you know, hey, I'm looking out for you here. Like, you can trust me, that kind of thing, you
Yeah.
know. But I hear what you're saying. Is like, of course, it can't hurt them, but like what Angelina said, if it's like someone who died centuries ago who hasn't got a clue what the hell it is, then you know. But I think it's more that, isn't it? It's just to kind of like build like a rapport with them to say like, I'm not here to hurt you in general.
Right. Exactly. I remember one time I was doing a video and I'm like, my name is Angelina. I'm here to harm you. Please, you know, I watch it back and I'm like, did I just say I'm here to harm you? Like, you know, edit. But no, everyone is saying hi to you. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hi, all. Hi, everyone.
I see you put up a question there.
Yes, yes. So from Brian again, anyone from more than 150 years old won't understand you, even if it's English.
Well, I guess that depends on where you go and what country you're in. If they spoke
Is that
English
true?
there.
Because we read texts from very like, how old's Dickens?
Charles Dickens?
That's over 100 years ago, surely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that, we can read Dickens. Like I've read, you know, a lot of the times when you watch like A Christmas Carol, you can that's a lot of that is taken directly from the book. I've got to admit, I'm not going to make out I've read Dickens. I'm not that cultured, but like, you know, even that one with Jim Carrey, that was one of the most accurate depictions of it, because it was, I think, all the text was from the book.
Yep.
That animated Jim Carrey, and you can understand what's going on. You can understand. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's different in America. I don't know. But like, I think the language, obviously it's changed greatly, but you can understand from 150 years ago. So I would assume people from 150 years ago could understand us.
I mean, if you can understand the Bible, you can understand anything.
We can understand Shakespeare. I know Shakespeare is different, but we can understand Shakespeare.
I was going to say,
that's like
if you can
500 years
understand
ago.
Shakespeare, you're good too, you know? But yeah, that's weird. Go ahead, Steve.
So we have another one from Squirrely's Paraworld. I personally believe that a majority of these older spirits will think today's devices are demonic because it's absolutely unknown to them. What are your thoughts on this?
I would say that by now they probably know what the hell they are, because everyone goes there with them. They're probably used to them by now.
Yeah.
You know, because surely the amount, if there are ghosts like roaming around these areas, the amount of teams that go with them, they probably would get their heads around that. You know, they're probably okay.
Yeah.
By
Right.
now, but who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? UK would be worse, with dialects being more prevalent in literacy and speech style differences occurring at different rates. That went over my head.
Worse with dialects being more prevalent in literacy and speech style different occurring at different rates. Yeah, I mean, Americans have like their own dialects as well. It's just more spread out because it's such a bigger country. But in the UK, we have a lot of dialects for a very small country. Like I can, from where I grew up in the UK, if I just went like less than 50 miles away, it's a completely different accent.
Question: have EVPs been caught in other languages? I have been to a location where it was predominantly Latin people that they say haunted this place. And I will say that I did get a little bit of Spanish. But then again, it was repetitive with the Spanish. Like I was getting azul a lot, which is blue, and continuously. So I think you can, but again, I don't trust it. I mean, in America, when you go to school here, you have to know English.
Mm-hmm.
So most people speak English here unless they're coming from somewhere else. But then at one point they're having to learn English. But
Yeah.
I've seen teams where it's like, oh, it's in German, oh, it's in this. I don't know. I don't know if you go to the UK or maybe Africa and they're talking Swahili in your recorders. You know, I don't know.
It's always one of the funny things. I remember when Exploring with Fighters, Exploring with Josh, they did a whole bunch of videos in Japan, and they're talking to the spirit talker, and it's coming through in English, and I'm like, you're speaking in English, you're in Japan, and then they just sort of said, oh, it just so happens that there must be like a sort of spirit language, and it just so happens to be English, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Japan, learn Japanese or don't investigate in Japan.
Right. And I think even when he had some translators there too, it was coming back in English.
Yeah.
And not saying nothing bad about Explorer Josh. I love watching him. He does do. I love his history parts, and I loved everything he did in Asia. But you know, yeah, it that's a question that just can't. I can't answer it. I don't know. What's up, Shape? Hi.
What's up?
Hey, Shape.
How are you? Shape was actually the first person I started watching.
Yep.
Me too.
Long timer in this. We got to get the Shape on, but I don't think he does podcasts.
I don't think so.
I don't know. So out of all of the debunkers, there's a bigger debunker community than people think there is. I came across a bunch of women the other day, different channels, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know that. Who do you have the utmost respect for when it comes to the debunking community?
I mean, everyone does it in their own way. Obviously, Shape is hugely influential in the debunking community. He's been at it for so long, and he's had so many great debunks under his belt. Beardo is very entertaining. Mr. Gray, I'm a big fan of Mr. Gray. I would say technically, like as far as like understanding how video editing software is, I would say Parpol as well, but I don't think he really does the debunking thing anymore. But Mr. Gray really knows his stuff when it comes to like how to manipulate and cheat in the video editing process. Crow Judas is very, very funny. I'm a huge Crow Judas fan. Boo Production Paranormal is fantastic.
Yes.
I'm enjoying a lot of Jeff and Dana's stuff. They very funny, very creative. I particularly enjoyed their Paranormal Nightmare video that they did. There's like Paranormal Seekers, of course. You, Angelina. There's a few around that. They may not necessarily call themselves debunkers, all of them, but like they're very much in the debunking sphere. Like Joe Fatale is the same. Like he doesn't call himself a debunker, but he does, whether he realizes it or not. Debunk. There's probably someone missing. I apologize if there is, but like to say if there's like one in particular, no, I can't ever say there's one in particular. Everyone has their own approach. I know this is a very Switzerland answer, but it's true. Everyone has their own approach. Everyone has their own way they handle these things. They tackle these things. Some are more aggressive than others. Some lean more into comedy than others. Some are paranormal investigators first, and then they go into debunking. It's just so many different ways that there's no one person that does it better than the other, in my opinion.
And that's a great answer. That's what I was hoping to get from you, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I can't pick and choose who I think is the best. I love John Wolfe, but I really like the guy. I don't even think he's a debunker. Oompaville, that guy. I think you just did a video on him, or did Beardo? Someone did. He's extremely funny. I think it's Oompaville or Umpaville.
Oh yeah, I just did a video with him in it as well. So I just got to say I forgot to mention Mythos as well. Yeah, Oompaville. I just featured him in my last video with Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo. And I don't think he's a debunker. He just doesn't he said pretty much the same. He doesn't believe it, but he pretty much said the same thing that I've been saying. He's like, he wants to believe it. He just needs proof. He just needs evidence.
Exactly.
He reminds me a lot of you. He's very funny. Very funny.
That's right. Yeah, he's very funny, and he has a very good approach to it because he just asks questions. And when he asks questions, you realize that Selena and Call Me Chris, who's done loads of ghost hunting videos, they can't answer them. I'm like, why can't you answer these questions? I'm not talking about questions like existential questions about the afterlife. I'm talking about just how a device that they use works. And they say they don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying you're going to have all the answers, but if you use these devices and you don't use them in the right way, you use them as if this is ironclad proof of the paranormal, because that's the kind of channels they do. And if you don't even know how they work, how can you claim that this is proof of the paranormal? It's backwards knowledge. It's backwards logic.
Yep, definitely, absolutely, totally agree. Susan had that problem with the device, and she left it with me. And we have figured it out, and we'll try it the next time we go out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not hard to ask for help if you don't know how something works. That's what you should be doing. I see Lone Wolf has a... Is that Lone Wolf?
Yes. He said, I would also like to know what Side-Eye Guy thinks about or has experience from mythological spirits in the UK, like ghost hounds and stuff like that.
I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. The UK is so bloody small, we would have found anything like that now. Like there's always been like a rumor going around that there's like a giant cat, like a panther or something like that, roaming around the English countryside. Nah. Hounds. I believe the werewolf is in fact Welsh. I think that's Welsh mythology. There's quite a bit of like British mythology, like but it's exactly that. It's mythology. It's really exciting, interesting. I love hearing and reading about all that sort of stuff. But no, I haven't seen any kind of evidence to back any of it up, and I don't think really anyone has ever. Like, there's no. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've not been presented any evidence that any of like the more. Even like the British mythology, like probably one of the most famous ones is the Loch Ness monster. There is no Loch Ness monster there. Like there is not. Like it's not that big. I've been to Loch Ness. It's not that big. It's not. A lot of the time when you're talking about cryptids, you're like, it makes sense to me in America, Alaska, or I don't know, Wyoming or wherever. Like there's these vast forest, mountain ranges and forests like Colorado and all the rest of it, like huge, like insane amount of land that I don't think a lot of people, even in America, understand the size of it. Yeah, sure, maybe a Bigfoot or a family of Bigfoot can get lost in that. If you're talking about mermaids or krakens or whatever, hey, a lot of the ocean we don't understand and we don't know, and it's so big and deep and vast that we scratched the surface with the deep waters. Look, fucking Ness is tiny.
Yeah,
tiny. It's really, considering what I've just mentioned, and they've literally scanned the whole thing. There's nothing there. But people still try and perpetuate the Loch Ness Nessie myth.
They are, yeah.
It's crazy how people are like, they don't understand the difference between a myth, an urban legend, facts. Go for the facts. Like urban legends and myths, they're fun. You grow up with those. Your grandparents tell you. Your parents tell you stuff. But it's like, no, like it's okay to believe what you want to believe. That's totally fine. But if you really want to know, really put in the time and the research. Like, have you seen newspaper clippings on this or that, or like. Oh, somebody died at this haunted location. Okay, well, where's the article? Because there was newspapers at that time. Where's the article? You can't just tell me someone died and I'm going to go try to talk to this person and waste 16 hours of my time, and there's no actual facts that person died there. So, and I like too, Side-Eye Guy, when I think it was you who's starting to call out some of the caretakers for the bullshit that they're saying. I lived in a haunted location for 8 months, and the caretaker I held his secrets for 8 months, and he kept calling out, this happened, that's happened. And finally I said, you know what? None of this shit that you said happened, and why do you have to lie about it? Because this place is legit haunted. It's a nice haunt. It's a school. But that's another thing. I don't know why I keep saying you, because I love watching you, but you've already called out some caretakers. I think you should continue with that too, because there are some shady ass caretakers.
Yeah.
To me, anyone that's profiting off the dead, I don't care if you're an investigator, Cody Satori, a caretaker, or an owner, you should be called out, because God forbid somebody lies
Often I
about you being
find
dead.
it's the caretakers, the property owners that should be looked at more heavily, because they
Yes.
directly profit
Yeah.
from this. And it's a lot. It can be a lot easier finding that stuff because history doesn't lie.
Right.
And if you've got access to the history,
Yeah.
But a big one, the Hinsdale house is another one. I'm just like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
Yeah.
No. Oh, thank you, Squirrely, for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you. I'm the same way. Like I need proof. I need evidence, and it's just like I'm in that boat. Like I want to. Like I know so many caretakers, and I know they're full of shit. And I'm like, I want to call them out, but at the same time, I have to think about my team and the locations they might want to go to, whether I think they're haunted or not. So I'm stuck in limbo there. So that's why I say, hey, side eye guy, let's see some videos on these caretakers. I'll send them to you with some facts.
I do my best. The last one, again, I would say all the Paranormal Files ones I've done have been more about debunking the locations rather than the paranormal, than Colin himself. And I've highlighted some weird stuff from Colin, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I definitely enjoy doing stuff on the properties and the owners and the caretakers. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I love when you do that. I get so excited. I'm like, yes. Finally, someone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's hard. I wish I could do it, but again, I have a team to think about, and they haven't been as many places as I have been. So I don't want to take away anything from them. I hope they realize it's not haunted, but it's hard. It's hard. I did call someone out 7 years ago. It was huge. But in the paranormal field, they tell you if someone is faking, it is your duty to call that person out. It is your duty to do that. And when we were at Pennhurst, and I told Susan and everybody, if I catch anyone faking anything, because we had a hard time. People gave us shit about going with the G Team Paranormal. The Shape has done videos on them, and I told everybody straight up, if I catch you faking anything, I will put it out there. And then I feel that, now that I'm doing debunking videos, I don't like to say they're debunking, but it's more of a microscope. And yeah, if you come out and investigate with me and you throw some bullshit out there, I'm going to throw your bullshit out there for the whole world to see, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's respect for those who have passed away that you're bullshitting about. And it's hard to do that. It's hard, to do that, but it's like, okay, now I'm in a situation where I just have to do it, and there was some bullshit at Pennhurst. I'm not going to lie. I saw we hung out with 4 people, and we all have same video footage, but other people, I'm just like, really? Like, I really want to call you out, but do I or do I not? Because you know what I'm talking about, Susan.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard to be a debunker and a paranormal investigator at the same time. It really, really, really is. And I try to tell people that, we're like, Angelina, we need more videos. You need to do some different stuff, or you need to stay on top of Cody and Satori. And it's not that easy. It's not that easy, because first and foremost, I got to think about my team and our investigations.
Mm-hmm.
And Side Eye Guy, I love it. I love you. And then I don't think there's a Shape investigate, because he's on the ball.
I believe the Shape has investigated in the past.
Okay. And I see Mythos, he's getting ready to start investigating, so that's cool too, that he's going to learn from a paranormal investigator side, and that's going to help him. Well, Mythos and I had a little issue, but I still watch Mythos. I love what Mythos does. I love how he switches it up. He'll do a debunk, and now he's working with equipment, and
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to see people like yourself, Side Eye Guy, and Mythos, people who haven't investigated, do that, because you're understanding our world and bringing it into your world, and you know what I'm trying to fucking say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we know
understand
what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm
This
trying
is
to
this
say.
all. Hey Kenny, if you're still here, hey Kenny. Secondly, one of the big when I first started this whole the whole Side Eye Guy channel, and I was doing it for a little while, and people would come at me with a lot of different criticisms. You're a hater. You're jealous. Why do you wear the mask? A lot of things I just didn't really care about, and I was like, whatever. I can explain them and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I couldn't, they had me on is you're an armchair. You're a couch potato debunker. You don't go out in the fields. You don't do it yourself. And that was a time when I was a little bit like, you know what? You got a point there. I need to actually test these devices out for myself,
Mm-hmm.
get my hands dirty, go to these locations for myself, and really understand what it feels like to do it. And I'm glad I'm doing that now, and I do want to keep doing it. And I'm actually enjoying it.
Oh, I could tell you were still funny in investigations.
Yep.
I can tell, yeah. Oh, let's see. So, good day, Wayne. Good day, Wayne. How are you, Wayne? Hey, Kenny, how are you? I think I saw Kenny come in.
Yeah, Kenny did come in briefly.
Check your email, Kenny. I emailed you back. I don't have any more questions. Do you?
Oh no, I don't see any more questions. I don't have any more questions.
So, what are we looking for in the future? What's coming out in the future from the Side Eye Guy?
Next video is going to be with Adelaide Ghost, an actual ghost, an paranormal investigation, should I say, with Adelaide Haunted Horizon, the first of 3. We did 3 investigations together. It's in a old historical ghost town in Australia. Really, really interesting location. Some weird things did actually happen. And we had a lot of fun. Like there was a very there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of just messing around. So some people want like the scary stuff. I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at pretending to be scared when I'm not. But I do like to have fun, and there was a lot of fun with that. So there's that one, and then I mentioned this earlier because I've been to that location. There's another paranormal team that have been to the same location, and I now know what exactly they're faking about. So I'm going to do that, and then whoever wins my next vote. So they're the 3 videos I got planned for now. I got an investigation, a debunking video from the same location I just investigated, and then whoever wins my next vote.
Oh, I hope it's Chris Starr. It's funny because I seen your notification come up, and it was like 6 seconds you had posted it, and I hit Chris Starr, and I'm like, oh, it says 100%. And I'm like, wait a minute, he just posted this.
Yeah.
The first
I'm sorry
one.
to tell you, Chris Starr's probably, I think she's bottom of the barrel right now.
Oh,
I put Chris Starr up twice, and no one seems to want to do Chris Starr, or wanted me to do a video on Chris Starr. So I'm going to, if I do end up doing a video on Chris Starr, I might just have to just do one and not put her down to the vote because she's not that. I think it might just be you and a few others, Angelina, who really want that video.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't people want a video on Chris Starr? I mean, God, I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I'm not as good as you guys, or I'd be doing it myself, but I don't know. I got some stuff coming out. We got some stuff coming out, and we're gonna see what happens. But what gets me is just like I'm trying to brand our team, and it's like I get 400, 500, 600 views on our paranormal videos, our investigations, but when I do a debunking video, it's like, wow, the views are through the roof.
Yeah, you get a lot of views for debunking.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, watch our real investigations. We try to make it a little bit fun. People are like, oh, Candyland's great, but you guys were too serious in the other buildings. Well, because we had to be serious. Candyland was only great because we got chased by bats or whatever. We were in the tunnels, like. So it's a struggle there too, but
yeah, I've often kind of had a similar kind of thing. And like, I by no means do I ever want to get preachy on who people watch whatever the hell you want to watch. It's your time. It's YouTube. You watch whatever you want to watch. However, I would say, like, for those who want to like support real paranormals, you got to watch it.
Yep.
And I'm grateful for those who enjoy watching the debunking videos of mine, because I'm a reaction / debunking channel first and foremost before I ever consider myself. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm really bad at it, but I have fun with it. But I will say, for those who are real paranormal investigators, we have to support that, and the best way to support them is by watching.
Yes, absolutely. That's why my team, we started doing podcasts on Sundays, and we're going to talk to those smaller teams. I'm not looking for no big teams with millions of views and followers, and I'm looking for the small teams. I don't care if you have 5 subscribers. I want to interview you. I want to know, how do you investigate? What do you think about the paranormal? Mm-hmm. And I think that could help the real paranormal investigators to try to at least be noticed again. And people understand we don't need all this bullshit. We don't have to say there's demons. I'm Catholic, so I don't even believe in that shit, but demons and possessions and poltergeist, and come on.
Yeah.
I bet you if I did that with all my thumbnails, put the word demon or possessed or devil, I'd get a click.
It would go to the roof probably, yeah.
The paranormal patch, that girl, she's starting to piss me off. She started to piss me off so bad that I have to sit down and stop working on her video, because I just am going to say things that I probably shouldn't say. But it's like, wow, you're just so disrespectful. Like it's crazy. And it is these people who are faking because they need to make a little bit of money or whatever. Mm-hmm. They don't think about the people they're really hurting. They're hurting the dead, and they're hurting the family members that are still alive. They don't think about, hey, they might have family members that are still alive,
Yeah.
So the debunking community, it's a great thing. I never even knew about it until I saw John Wolf's video after Sam and Colby, and my family told me to watch it. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know there's a community like this. I had no clue, because I'm not a YouTube watcher. I don't watch paranormal shows unless they're live on YouTube. That's, for me, the most believable. But ever since I started watching the debunkers, I get up and watch everybody every morning. Like, that's just my thing. There's been times I see Seg on it, like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning here, and he's on, and I'm like, good morning. I'm having my coffee. It's like nice to wake up and refreshing.
Yeah, that's
As a
true.
paranormal investigator, I thank you for all that you do for us.
Yes.
Because you do a lot for us. You do.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I would say we went past an hour.
That's normal for Side-Eye Guy.
I know. But we want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I've had a great time. Thank you.
Yeah, and please, everybody, please follow him on his YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe, please.
Yes,
but
also on
so
Facebook.
Much.
Got a Facebook page, The Side-Eye Guy.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone in the chat.
What Kenny say?
Very kind comments for everyone in the chat, except for Kenny.
Yeah. Kenny says, this is the longest I've seen Seg sit there and not talk. I love when you and Kenny get on a podcast and you're just up there talking shit. It's amazing. It's fun.
Someone likes it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate it. And Lady Victoria Darkwood, thanks for letting me co-host. And
you're welcome.
I'm going to tell you that I'm very sorry about Sunday. My asthma was acting up, from the theater, all that dust and the tours we did all day long. It just got to me. But I will be interviewing you this Sunday.
All right. So thank you, Side-Eye Guy.
Thank you very much.
He's the side guy.
A side-eye. Bye.
All the best.
All right. We'll see you in a minute. Well,
that was great.
Yes. Now I can take this mask off soon. And thank you to all my mods, Susan's mods. Thank you to everybody for the support.
Yep.
We've been looking forward to this podcast with Side-Eye Guy. He's just such an amazing guy. And
he is. Amazing.
You can really see who he was when he was at Disney World with his kids. He's just an all-American, British man, dad, and You know, he's the real thing. He's the real thing. I like that he doesn't cut corners and he says what he's got to say when he's got to say it. So he'll fit into America perfectly, especially if he comes to New England.
Exactly. We're gonna hit him up when he comes to back here. We have to get with him. Definitely,
I say we just get passports and we just head on out there.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
All right. Well, I'll let you close out the show.
Yeah. Well, everybody have a great night, and we will see everybody. Well, I would be on Angelina's show this coming Sunday, but for my show, I'm actually going to have another one next week. So stay tuned, and I will see everybody later.
Bye, everybody.